All right, boys and girls, good morning. This is Don with Adventures of the Broken Retired. Another story for today. I figured, why not? Today we're going to tell the story of the CBX. Now, just in case you're not familiar with what a CBX is, let's try this. There's probably going to be some glare. I apologize to you for that. It just kind of is what it is. I'm still using my cardboard box camera stand, by the way. Anyway, in case you're not familiar with what a CBX is, this, my friends, is a CBX. That is a 1980 Honda CBX that I got when I was working at the shop in Lafayette. And I see on the other side of this page, I took this page obviously out of a photo album. On the other side of this, and this is important to the story, that would be my oldest daughter, the one who had her ears fixed on my CBX, and I'll tell you how that relates in just a minute. But let's tell the story of the CBX just for fun. So you saw in the picture how old I was. I was early 20s. I was working at a Honda motorcycle shop in Lafayette, up by the interstate, if you're familiar with Lafayette. And I was service manager, and I don't remember exactly what happened, but I needed a ride home one day. So I asked the manager of the store, a guy named Mike, hope you don't mind me saying his name. I said, Mike, while we're on the I can't, I have a lot of stories. And sometimes in the middle of telling one, I'll think of another one and I get sidetracked. So I end up interrupting myself. Sorry about that. Anyway, so I said, Mike, I said, I need something to ride home tonight for whatever reason it was. So he reached at his desk and he pulled out this key and he said, here, take this. And I look at the key tag and it says black CBX. And I'm like, Mike, you want me to take the CBX home? He said, yeah, go ride it. It needs to be ridden anyway. It was a used bike we had. Hey, I ain't going to complain. So, jumped on the bike, rode home. I ended up riding it back and forth to work for a couple of weeks. After that 2-week period was over, I went and sat down at Mike's desk and put the keys on his desk and sat there for a minute, crossed his desk from him. He said, what's wrong? I said, dude, you got to take that motorcycle away from me. He said, why? Because I love it. I don't know if I can live without that thing. If I ride it anymore, I'm gonna have to keep it. I'm having trouble giving it back. Take it back now, which he refused to do. He worked out a deal on the price with me that was exceptionally good. And lo and behold, I had a CBX. I loved that motorcycle. It was a super fine machine for its day. It was a 1980 model, so it's one of the reduced horsepower. It's 98 horsepower. 1,047 cc's, 6-cylinder engine, air-cooled, oil-cooled. Absolutely fantastic bike. And I went all over the place on that thing. Matter of fact, we were living in Lafayette. I was the service manager at the shop. And Sundays and Mondays, we were closed. And Sunday mornings, we would meet up at the shop in the morning. And we'd go for a ride. 5 or 6 of us. We'd go for a ride. And I'm not lying to you. Sometimes we'd go from Lafayette to Galveston, get a pizza, and ride back. In fact, I've got some pictures of some of the guys in the shop that were taken in Galveston on one of those trips. I'm meant to get some more pictures out. I'm not sure how the pictures do on the camera. It's kind of weird. But anyway, so I rode the CBX. Of course, it's Louisiana, so you can ride year round. I rode the CBX for a long time. The pictures that I showed a minute ago of my daughter on the bike, every afternoon when I came home, my daughter would be standing in the front window And when she saw me pull up in the driveway, she would come running outside under the carport. I'd pick her up and put her on the bike, and I would have to take her for a ride down the street every night. She ended up being a fairly accomplished rider, by the way. See, I'm interrupting myself again. I got to tell you the story of Team Monkey. She was a part of Team Monkey. I've got some great pictures of her. She was a part of Team Monkey, which was a bunch of us off-road motorcycle people. She was part of Team Monkey. We had a lot of fun with Team Monkey. She rode a KDX 200. So I had the CBX, and that motorcycle was fantastic. I can't say enough good things about it. It was fast. Probably too fast to be in a young man's hands, but I had it. So one day I'm working at the shop. It was November 2nd of 1984. I was working at the shop, and my wife at the time had told me she was going to make me some spaghetti for lunch. So I jumped on the bike. I left the shop I was a mechanic. At this time, I'd actually left the shop, gone to work as a car mechanic, which is a whole other story. I've interrupted myself again. It's a whole other story. But I'd gone back to the shop, and I was working as a mechanic. So come to be noontime, I jumped on the bike, and we didn't live far down the road from the shop. The shop was in Lafayette, and we lived in Carencro. So I jumped on the bike and started heading to the house, and I was kind of daydreaming. I was doing two things. I was daydreaming about the spaghetti lunch I was going to get, and I was being really careful not to speed. Two reasons. I was on the Carencro Highway. Carencro Highway was trapped. And to be honest with you, I'd already had enough speeding tickets on that motorcycle that more of them were not any good. So I was being careful to make sure I was going 55 miles an hour, which was the speed limit. And I remember that on the left-hand side of the road, I saw something really unusual. There was a little blue K car that was in the ditch off to the side of the road. And there was a wrecker truck hooked up to the K car to pull them out of the ditch. And the car was in the ditch long ways. And evidently the wrecker truck had got stuck too. So they had a wrecker truck hooked up to a wrecker truck, hooked up to a little K car to try to get out of the ditch. And as I rode by, I took my eyes off the road, looked over my left shoulder and said, wow, look at that. Well, evidently, from what I don't remember anything after that. It was 2 weeks missing. My memory goes from seeing those wrecker trucks to being at work at a car dealership with very, very little in between. Anyhow, evidently, there was a cemetery on the right-hand side of the road, and there was a truck that belonged to the cemetery that had it was like a box van, but on a pickup truck chassis. I don't know, I've never seen it. But evidently, it pulled out in front of me, and my head was turned to the left. I didn't see it, and I hit it under throttle. He had just gotten straight onto the road, so he was probably doing 5 or 6, maybe 10 miles an hour, and I was going 55. We're going to have to break this into 2 parts. It's at 9 minutes right now. I'm going to go ahead and break it right now.